So for the past couple of weeks, everyone and their mom has been posting their game or games of the year list in some shape or form. Their top game or their top game in each category, or the crappiest games or the games that meant the most for them, or maybe not even a game that came out in 2018 but they finally got around to beating and they just had a blast in doing it. I wish I could say something insightful about the game of the year as a thing, as a conversation, but I find it so weird and problematic because unlike other forms of media, I'd argue video games are way more varied and they're evaluated on so many different subjective metrics that I don't know how you could ever come to a conclusion about what truly is the game of the year. But maybe game of the year is really all about the gamer-game relationship and the emotional connection that's fostered when you pick up a controller and press start. But we can save that kind of discussion for another time. I too wanted to have an end of the year, game of the year discussion to seem like I'm legitimate and in the gaming blip in this broader discourse. Sadly, when it came to figuring out what games I had played to completion in 2018, or played a significant amount of, it was lackluster. Only one title I completed this year was actually released in 2018. The bulk of what I played came out in 2016 and 2017, with even some stragglers going all the way back to 2013. That's too is why Game of the Year lists are weird and problematic. With the sheer holy frickin' volume of games that come out every year, how on earth does anyone have time to play all this stuff? Especially when we are littered with the never-ending multiplayer live service games that you can literally sink 10 non-AAA games worth of time into and still have only gently submerged your toes into the blissful oasis of microtransactions and boring gameplay loops and blah blah. I guess that's also a different topic for a different time. So right, back to the end of year stuff. I realized most titles I completed in 2018 weren't released in 2018. I also only beat 12 games. I don't know if that's a lot, or average, or a small amount. Maybe you guys can tell me, because I don't really know. All of this is to say, I didn't really feel qualified making any grand proclamation about what the best game is for 2018, or what are the best of the best, or what you should play. So instead, I wanted to share with you some of the titles I'm looking forward to in 2019. So, welcome to Questmarker's most anticipated non-AAA releases of 2019. We've got 3 categories, because categories are great for you and for me, Jimmy. We got the traditional releases, so stuff that we haven't heard about that's going to get a full release in 2019. And then we have stuff in early access that should get a release in 2019, because who frickin' pays for early access stuff? I don't know. We don't go down that rabbit hole. And 3, the honorable hype of please for the love of the moon, will this come out in 2019? So let's get right into it. The first game up into this in the traditional releases category is called The Children of Morta. We play as members of the Bergson family who are guardians of the mystical Mount Morta. There's something about corruption spreading, blah 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 blah, and so you have to obviously restore peace and balance to the land. Each member of the family, I think you get to play as, except your grandma and your uncle are in charge of those, upgrade shops that let you power up between each dungeon and so forth. Stuff is procedurally generated and the art looks gorgeous. You'll also be able to play solo and cooperatively with one other player. It's called a narrative-based roguelike hack and slash, but I'm really excited to see how family and the role of family helps shape the narrative between its primary playable characters. I love it. It looks awesome. There's a really strong likelihood that this is going to come out in 2019, so here's to hoping Dead Magic Inc. has some smooth sailing. And as always, if you're interested in any of these titles, be sure to wishlist them on Steam or any other digital platform that you use. I never really realized until I started this whole project that wishlisting games are an analytical tool for developers, so definitely show some support. The second game in the first category is called Wargroove. Now, if you're any kind of fan of Advanced Wars at all, then you probably already know about this title. But this is Chucklefish's next big thing, and it's set to come out in a few months. It's all turn-based tactical gameplay goodness. You'll get to pick among 12 factions that each probably come with some unique abilities or unique unit types, and then there'll be common unit types that will be shared amongst them all, and you're going to try to crush your enemy in these 2D maps with cool objectives, or you're going to just be total domination and wipe them all out. There's at least 12 factions to choose from and maybe more, and each faction, I guess each commander of each faction, has a campaign mode. So there's 12 playable campaigns, but you'll also be able to play in local competitive mode, local co-op play. There's also going to be online for everything. One of the things that I think is super exciting is that there's also going to be a map maker mode. So we're probably going to get this never-ending library of maps and new game types and game variants. So it's just going to be the game that keeps on giving. According to their website, they want to create, Chucklefish wants to create the most complete experience for Advanced Wars and turn-based strategy fans. Oh, sign me up. This is awesome. The third title that's hopefully going to be released in 2019 is called Pathway. It's Robotalities. It's a pixelated tactical Indiana Jones adventure where you have to rescue your friend from Nazis in Egypt in 1936 because there's occult magic going on among the ruins of Giza. Oh boy, pop, pop. If that doesn't have you hooked, I don't know what will. We don't have a whole lot of footage to base our expectations off of, but if anything can be called Indiana Jones as a game, this looks as close as we might get. There's turn-based combat with cover systems, you can create characters that you meet along the way, there's a delicious tone of that pre-World War II Nazi occult research set in a beautiful Middle Eastern setting. There's RPG elements, there's narrative decisions, and some ability to play more than one adventure. I'm really excited for this game, and I really hope that Robotality has a chance to release it in 2019. The fourth game is Pathless. So, Abzu was one of the titles I got around to playing this year, and obviously I got around to playing it a couple of years late, but it was still a mesmerizing experience for me, and when you got the chance to swim with the whales, spoilers, it was one of my gaming highlights of 2018. So for me, realizing at the Video Game Awards back in December that Giant Squid Studios was announcing their next title, well, let's just say that the Pathless trailer was the one I was most excited for. We don't know much about the game beyond that you get this sick-ass eagle companion who helps you maneuver around a vibrant forest, and you get a badass bow, and you get to fight some monsters, and with the vibrant cinematic style of Abzu, I cannot contain my excitement for the Pathless. And yeah, I totally intended to put the Pathless beside the Pathway because paths and creative name titles are creative and stuff. Anyways, the last and totally fifth game in this category is After Party. I'm a huge fan of Oxenfree, which is Night School Studios' previous title. So when they announced that their next game is about teenagers trying to party out of hell, what color this boy intrigued, Jimmy. After Party will return with that quick, responsive dialogue system where conversation is fluid and involved. There's some kind of drinking mechanic that your two characters will be able to perform that can influence dialogue options with the fiendish citizens of hell. You're on a quest to find Satan and have a drinking competition with him to figure out why you died and why you ended up here. Like, that's awesome. So I'm very curious to see what kind of tone After Party achieves and how this tone influences the narrative. The initial footage and artwork strikes a balance between dark hues and this splash of bright color and this range of purple hues and dark blues, and it's a distinct departure from kind of the subdued, earthy tones of Oxenfree. So is After Party kind of going to be more fun and jovial? I mean, you're having drinking competitions in hell. We don't know, but I'm super excited to find out in 2019. So that wraps up the first category. So now I want to talk briefly about two games that have been in early access for some time now, but might just get their full 1.0 release in 2019. I haven't played these games yet, although I'm sure some of you might have, because I don't really do early access, but we'll get into that another time. Anyways, the first game of this early access Pray for 2019 1.0 release category is The Secrets of Grindia, or Secrets of Grindia. I've been following this for a long time now. There's been so many times I've been tempted to pick it up for cheap during a Steam sale, but I've never quite gotten there because of that early access thing. Secrets of Grindia has me excited because it's an old school role-playing game. The art, there's like a cozy kind of style where you just want to hack at the little ooze monster with your sword. There's hack and slash combat. There's like a deep inventory and level up system. It just seems like that game that you boot up on a cold winter morning with a friend. You sip a little bit of hot cocoa and you get transported into a lush world of quests and exploration. It's been in early access for a long while now, but there's a real good indication that we might see a 1.0 release in 2019, which has me just tickled. The second game in this category is They Are Billions. This is a newer title in comparison to Grindia, and it's also in early access. It's already a pretty popular pre-launch title, but the premise of mixing a real-time strategy with surviving a huge zerg of zombies or infected or whatever they call it is just super exciting, and I've had my eye on this game for a long time. Playing a strategy game with a strong sense of overwhelming doom, even getting it from the gameplay trailer, it's just an awesome angle, and the sensation of seeing a horde repelled at your gates looks incredible, or praying that your walls or your mechs hold the line as the billions come crashing against it. It's just, it's tingly. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. So all of this, coupled with steampunk and a campaign mode and all of the typical RTS multiplayer options, They Are Billions is a game to watch out for. Here's to hoping we get a complete game in 2019. The last category I wanted to talk about are just the hype mentions, because we gotta have a little bit of hype to keep up our positivity going into this new year. And 2019, I pray, is the year of cyberpunk.
Always got a promise for you. Might be a lie, an illusion, but it's there, just around the corner, and it keeps you going.
I drooled when we saw the stuff this year at E3. It's a first-person, narrative-driven game that tackles the same big cyberpunk issues of the role of technology and what it means to be human when you can literally recreate yourself with tech, but it's still just awesome. The combat, the storytelling that's iconic of this Polish company, and seeing everything from a first-person angle, which I guess you kind of get in Deus Ex, but seeing CD Projekt tackle it, man, I'm so hyped. The Witcher series is probably in John's pantheon of the best of all-time games, so like fingers crossed we get Cyberpunk, or should I say we get Cyberpunk 2077 in 2019. But 2019 could also be the year of Mount & Blade Bannerlord. And for those who haven't played Mount & Blade Warband or any of the other titles, just go freaking do it. It's the weirdest medieval sandbox role-playing game you could probably ever play. It doesn't hold your hand, there isn't a story, there's some companions that you meet, there's like awful graphics, but there's sweet, sweet combat. You're not a god in Mount & Blade, you're just a soldier like anyone else. But standing in the line of cavalry, lance down, as you crush a horde of infantrymen is some of the most satisfying medieval combat that you can probably play in any video game ever. And Mount & Blade Bannerlord looks to improve upon all of the systems in the earlier titles. We get better sieges, we get better role-playing systems, we get better diplomacy, we get more modern UI and more customization and obviously modern graphics and just like an overall richer experience. And when Bannerlord is going to be released has kind of become a bit of a joke. But as I keep getting frickin' dev blog updates on Steam, I'm just praying that we're gonna get a dev blog update in 2019 that says a 2019 release date. In the world of true hype, maybe 2019 is both the year of Cyberpunk 2077 and Mount & Blade Bannerlord. And then alongside everything else that I've just talked about. So, didn't I mention at the beginning of this that a lot of stuff came out in 2018 and how can anybody ever keep up? Well, looking ahead, 2019 looks to pose that same problem to gamers, which I always think is great. And you know what? Quest Marker will be here as you embark on your gaming journey. of this new year. So I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season. Here's to the games of 2018, and here's to the ones that are just a short while away.